Ahoy, shipmates! It's a splendid morning here in the port of Southampton. Clear blue skies, gentle breeze, and lots of lovely sun. Not a cloud in the sky. And we're here for the Queen Mary 2. The last time she was in the port of Southampton was, I think it was last week. And in between, you may be asking yourself, where has the Queen Mary 2 been? Well, in fact, she's been in the Bay of Weymouth with a few other cruise ships. It's a popular parking place at the moment. They drop anchor in the Bay of Weymouth and transfer crews between the ships. But she's coming back into port of Southampton today, this morning. I would imagine to empty the rubbish or the garbage, refill with fuel, empty some of that black water that we don't want to talk about, and refill with food. I'd imagine there's probably a number of crew and shipmates on board. In fact, it's going to be quite a busy afternoon in the port of Southampton, because the Queen Mary 2 will be leaving again this evening. In fact, not only will the Queen Mary 2 be leaving, there will be a number of ships leaving. It will be very busy. The Azura is planning to leave at 4. The Queen Mary 2 at 5:15. The Queen Victoria at 5:45, and then the Britannia at 6:15. And then we have a large container ship after that at 8:15. I know there isn't the demand amongst my viewers for large container ships. I shall have to see what I can do. It's going to be tricky to try and catch all those movements this afternoon. I think I may concentrate on the Queen Victoria, because she'll probably reverse out and turn around, and the Britannia will go forward. I've not filmed the Britannia many times. It'll be quite empty in the port of Southampton after all those ships leave. But that's this afternoon. Let's get back to the action in the port now. In fact, you can see the Britannia and the Queen Victoria to the left on the screen, and the Azura is just hidden behind the funnel of the Queen Mary 2. Now, it's getting quite bright this morning, and I'm not entirely sure I'm going to be able to produce a decent photo from here. It's just a very strong light. I probably should go around the other side, but I do like the cruise ships in the background for a bit of a backdrop. Yeah, I'm not entirely happy with that one. I had a small problem with my gimbal on my drone. I had a bit of a reset moment. Look at the stunning shadow the QM2's casting on the lovely green water. Now that I'm looking at this, perhaps I should have taken a photo this way with the shadow. I think that's actually quite impressive. Sometimes it's difficult when you're flying to concentrate too much on taking the pictures. Okay, alright, I think I'm going to try another shot here. Yeah, that's yeah, that's not so bad. Not so bad. I quite like the shadow. It's not often you see the massive bow shadow like that. I've tried this other one from a lower angle, but I'm not as happy. The horizon and all the trees are at the same height as the superstructure. It's I don't know. I don't know what's like. Maybe it's not enough space in front of the bow. I thought I'd take some footage from the shore as well. I think the Queen Mary 2 strikes an elegant silhouette against the blue sky. I don't normally do shore footage, but occasionally, when conditions are right. Certainly the side of the ship is taking the sun rather nicely. Well, I see the blue of the dark blue of the hull is starting to look a little grey. I don't know if that's aging or dirty, or maybe time for a bit of a repaint. Anyway, back to the air. I thought we'd have a little look just at the bow here on the Queen Mary 2. I don't know if you can make it out, but where it says Cunard, just in front of that, you can probably see a couple of silvery lumps. There's two on each side. These are actually spare propeller blades. They're kept there in case, obviously, they break a blade. I have heard that these are affectionately known as the captain's cufflinks. I must say he'd be a mighty impressive captain to have shirts that big, needing cufflinks that size. And I thought that was a fun fact. Talking of fun facts, shall we run over some of the facts and figures for the Queen Mary 2? It cost £460 million to build. Launched in March 2003 and christened by Queen Elizabeth II. Designed by Stephen Payne. I shall come back to that in just a moment. Weighing in at 150,000 tonnes, a length of 345 metres, which puts her in the category of one of the longest passenger ships. A beam of 41 metres. There are 18 decks in total, 14 of which are passenger decks. Speed. Now this is one of the more impressive features of the Queen Mary 2. Speed is 30 knots. That's 56 kilometres an hour for you continental types, or 35 miles per hour in good old Queen's money. Capacity was 2,620 passengers, but after a 2016 refit is now 2,695 passengers. There are 1,253 crew on board. Now, I mentioned earlier the designer, Stephen Payne. His original intention for the stern of the ship was to be completely bulbous, like the bowl of a spoon. But as you can see, it's not quite the case. If I sort of nip down here and have a slightly closer look, you can see a flat part of the hull just where the red and white waterline is. That flat part should not have been there. The original intention was to have it completely curved. But that flat part, known as the transom, was required to mount the azipod drives. In fact, it's not often I'm at the stern of a ship like this. I think we might snap a photo. Although surprisingly, I'm finding it quite tricky to align myself. Yep, that's it. Come on, come across. Yeah, I think you get a clear view of the transom there and all the swimming pools. The Queen Mary 2 is making her way to the 106 mooring, which is beyond the Silver Spirit, and she will be swinging round up by the CMA CGM Louis Blériot, which will be leaving this evening. Queen Mary 2 is actually the RMS Queen Mary 2, technically. And the RMS prefix is the Royal Mail ship. And this was a gesture to the Cunard's history of cruising across the Atlantic. And Queen Mary 2 is not a steamship either. She has a fully integrated electric propulsion system. The azipod drives, which are at the stern of the ship, are fully electric. And the diesel and gas turbines generate electricity for the ship and for the drives. I believe the gas turbines are switched on and off depending on power requirements. I'm guessing you could loosely say it's sort of hybrid technology, but without the batteries. She's going past the Silver Spirit now, up to the swing area, so she can swing around and come back. She'll be docking just behind the Silver Spirit. Ah, alas, the blasted batteries again. And here we go. As you can see, she's made it up to the swing area. I shall just put this on fast forward so you can get a good idea of what she's doing. Unfortunately, I can't get much closer. Still no word when cruising will restart. Some lines are looking at July, others August. I imagine it might take longer than that. This repatriation of crew around the globe is a challenging proposition at the moment, with air travel heavily restricted. So when the cruise ships come back into operation, they'll have no crew. They'll have to go and try and repatriate their crew. Or no, unrepatriate. What would that be? Patriate. just to the east of the Isle of Wight, there's an area called the Nab Anchorage, and it's littered with Marella cruise ships. The Bay of Weymouth is very busy. Well, I've seen some wonderful photographs from satellites of many dozens of cruise ships in the United States, off of Los Angeles or in the Philippines. Now, normally the Queen Mary 2 wouldn't spin around quite so fast. I have sped up a little. You get a good view of the funnel from here. While the design is similar to the QE2, the Queen Mary 2's funnel is a slightly different shape. And the reason for this is that if the funnel was taller, it would make it impossible to pass under the Verrazano Narrows Bridge in New York City at high tide. This design permits a minimum of 13 feet of clearance under the bridge. Frequently, the Queen Mary 2 is too large to dock in many ports, and passengers are often ferried to and from the ship in tenders. And these can be seen along the side of the ship. I'm afraid we're having a battery issue again, so until next time, shipmates,